In this movie, we are shown many different races of people. All of them are very powerful. These people have different superpowers. One of them is the Airbenders, who can control air. The second are the Firebenders, who can control fire. The third are the Waterbenders, who know how to control water. And the fourth are the Earthbenders, who control the earth and its soil. Apart from this, avatars are also shown in this movie, who are more powerful than all these people. They are sent into the world so that these people do not fight among themselves. Here, we see that the Firebenders want to rule over the whole world, so they decide to eliminate the rest of the Benders. Then we are shown a boy who is an avatar, and his name is Aang, who is also an airbender. Aang's avatar training has not started yet. Here, Aang has masters who want to train him because very soon, the Firebenders are going to attack these people as well. But Aang was quite young, so he couldn't understand all these things and refused to take avatar training. Aang had a pet, and he went out for a ride sitting on his pet. As soon as he left, the Firebenders attacked his area. The Firebenders came and killed all the people here and completely destroyed this place. Aang, who had gone out for a ride, got caught in a storm and fell into the water. But he did not die by drowning because his avatar powers awakened and saved him there. After this, we are shown the time 100 years later. Here we see that Aang comes out from inside a tree and reaches the area of the Waterbenders. 100 years had passed, but Aang was still a child. Here, two Waterbenders arrive. One of them is named Katara, and the other is Katara's brother. They see Aang and take him with them. Then we are shown another boy. He is a Firebender, and his name is Zuko, and he is looking for the Avatar. When Aang wakes up, he tells the Waterbender people about the entire incident that happened to him. There, an old lady tells him that this is not possible. You are still a child, and the attack you are talking about happened 100 years ago. In that attack, all the Airbenders died, and their entire race was wiped out. After this, the lady understands that Aang is actually the Avatar. Aang now starts living there. On the other hand, we see that Zuko boards a ship with his uncle and comes to the Waterbenders area to capture Aang. To avoid a fight, Aang agrees to go with Zuko. They take him onto their ship. After reaching there, Aang starts wandering around the ship. Just then, he finds a book about the Avatar. Aang steals this book from there and flies away from that place. Then Katara, her brother, and Aang's pet come to get Aang, and they all reach the Airbenders area. Upon reaching there, Aang sees the bones of his master. Aang's entire area has been completely destroyed. Seeing this, Aang becomes very angry. Aang says that all this happened because of me. If I had understood my powers 100 years ago, maybe this wouldn't have happened to these people. But now I will correct my mistake, and now I will complete the Avatar training myself. For Avatar training, Aang goes to the temple of Avatar Kyoshi. As soon as he reaches there, light starts coming out of Kyoshi's statue and starts falling on Aang. After seeing this, the people of this city take Aang to their chief. Upon reaching there, Aang says that I have come here for Avatar training and I want to know about Avatar Kyoshi. Then we see that after a little while, Zuko reaches here while following these people. Aang once again stands under the statue of Avatar Kyoshi and once again light starts to emit from there. Aang reaches the spirit world where Kyoshi tells him that you must complete your training. If you don't complete your training, the Waterbender area will be completely destroyed, just like what once happened to the Airbenders. Then we see that Kyoshi enters Aang's body and comes into the human world so that she can kill the Firebender who has come here. Katara is fighting with the Firebender here, but when Kyoshi arrives, she kills all the Firebender soldiers within minutes. After this, Kyoshi exits Aang's body and leaves from there. The people of the city thank Aang because they believe that Aang was the one who saved them. Then we see that from here, these people go to the Waterbenders area. On the other side, we see Zuko's father and his sister in the Firebender kingdom. There, Zuko's father is telling his sister that Zuko has found the Avatar and he is more capable than you. After hearing this, Zuko's sister becomes very angry because her father was the king here, and she wanted to become the queen after him. Aang is going towards the Waterbender area when he sees a city from above, where he sees a boy flying towards him. Aang immediately reaches this city and finds out that this is the Earthbenders area. When Aang arrives here, he learns that the boy who was flying, his father is a scientist, and he was flying because of one of his dad's gadgets. After a while, Zuko arrives here once again. Upon coming here, A fight starts between Zuko and Aang. After a long fight, the soldiers of the Earthbenders arrive. They capture all of them and take them to the palace. Upon reaching there, Aang meets the king of this place and finds out that the king is Aang's childhood friend. Actually, in Aang's childhood, there was an Earthbender who was his very good friend, who has now grown old and has also become the king here, and the king immediately recognizes Aang upon seeing him. On the other hand, Katara is coming to the palace with her brother through a secret passage so that she can save Aang. This tunnel is very scary and dangerous, but Katara and her brother somehow manage to get through it together. On the other side, we see that a fight is going on between the Earthbender King and Aang. The king became very angry upon seeing Aang because 100 years ago, due to Aang's carelessness, many people lost their lives. There is a long fight between the two. Here, the king tells Aang that you are still a child and still think like a child. To this, Aang says to the king that no, I am not a child anymore, and now I just want to save the world. And for that, I need your help too. After this, the king lets him go. On the other side, we see that Zuko's uncle is being taken by the Earthbender soldiers to be imprisoned in a jail, when suddenly Zuko arrives and attacks the soldiers, freeing his uncle. On the other side, we see that Aang and Katara once again set out towards the Waterbenders area. But on the way, they once again see a fire burning in a place in the forest. When they land to find out what's going on, they find a man there who tells them that a monster lives here who makes our people disappear, and it was the same monster who started this fire. On the other side, we see Zuko's sister and their father talking to each other, where her dad tells Zuko's sister that I want the Avatar as soon as possible. And whether it's you or Zuko, whoever finds the Avatar first and brings him to me, I will make that person the king of this place. Here, we see Aang, who had come to this village. He feels energy from another dimension here. So he takes the souls of himself and his friends into the other dimension, where a very big monster appears in front of them. And this monster attacks all three of them. But just then, a fox comes to Katara's brother and says that the monster you saw is in a lot of pain. If you free him from that pain, all your troubles will also end. Just then, a monster comes to Katara and captures her, and that same monster also captures Katara's brother. But when the monster comes to Aang, instead of harming him, it starts talking to him and says, "You are not an ordinary human. I know that you are an avatar, and I have faced many avatars before." He says to Aang, "Did you bring something of mine with you?" Aang tells him, "No, I'm just looking for my friends." At that moment, the monster gets angry and is about to attack Aang, but Aang runs away and enters a house, where he sees his master. He hugs his master and says, "Where did you go? I needed you so much." There, he asks his master, "How can I save my friends from this monster?" The master tells him, a previous avatar once gave this monster a really tough fight and stole something very special from him. And if you want to save your friends, go and bring back that thing belonging to the monster. And return it. That thing is in the Firebenders area, but the Firebenders are their enemies, and it is very dangerous for Aang to go into their territory. Still, Aang, in order to save his friends, goes to the Firebenders area. Once here, Aang meets a Firebender who is different from the others. This Firebender wants peace between all the Benders. He does not want a war, so he helps Aang. This Bender takes Aang to the Avatar Temple, where many things collected by the Avatar are kept. However, Aang is unable to figure out which item among them belongs to the monster. After a little while, other Firebenders arrive, but the good Firebender faces them and does not allow them to reach Aang. After this, Aang uses his powers and meets the Avatar of the Firebenders. There, the Avatar tells him, "Actually, I stole the statue of the monster's mother, and if you return that statue to him, he will release your friends." Aang returns to the real world and picks up the statue. Just as Aang is about to leave, another monster arrives and attacks him. This monster belongs to Zuko and his uncle, which is why Zuko and his uncle capture Aang. Just as Zuko is about to take Aang away, Zuko's father's army arrives. They tell Zuko, "Your father has ordered that you hand over Aang to us, or we will kill you." Reluctantly, Zuko sends Aang with the army. They take Aang and bind him inside a temple. However, at night, Zuko comes and rescues Aang. Aang is really happy to see Zuko and says, "You are so kind, you have helped me." Zuko replies, "Do not be crazy. I am still your enemy. I want to capture you and take you to my land." Saying this, he attacks Aang again, and a fierce fight begins between them. But here, Aang manages to knock Zuko down. He then puts Zuko in a boat and sends him away, saying, "I will definitely come to meet you after saving my friends." We then see Aang coming once again to the burned village. Aang then goes to the world of spirits and returns the statue to the monster. After that, the monster frees Aang's friends and everyone in the village. Aang, Katara, and her brother then head back to the Waterbenders' territory. Here, the Waterbenders tell Aang that very soon the Firebenders will attack them, and because of you, we will easily win the war against them. After this, we see Katara going to meet the women of the area. They tell Katara that the women here do not participate in the war. They only use their powers to heal people. Hearing this, Katara feels quite bad. Then we see Aang going to meet a new avatar to activate his powers. This avatar tells Aang, "You are making the same mistakes I did. You are neglecting your training and focusing on your friends. Your training is more important than anything. You should focus only on your training." Meanwhile, Katara's brother meets a girl with white hair. This girl tells Katara's brother about herself and says, "I was very sick when I was a child, so my father asked for help from the spirit of the moon to save me. And we do water bending through the spirit of the moon. The spirit of the moon gave me a small part of herself, which is why I am alive," the girl explains. On the other side, we see Zuko's sister showing her father her firebending skills. She even starts to generate electricity from her hands. Seeing this, her father is extremely pleased and praises her a lot. Then, we see the firebenders preparing to attack the airbenders from a ship. The waterbenders do not have such a large army to face them. Here, Katara tells them that women should also take part in the war and prove their strength. To do so, she challenges the leader of the area. And this proves that these women can be just as powerful, Katara declares. A fierce battle is ongoing between the two Bender factions. Zuko's uncle tells his general that tonight is a full moon, and during a full moon, the power of waterbenders increases exponentially, making them unbeatable. The general responds, saying that his plan isn't to defeat them, but something else. He explains that when the full moon rises, the spirits of the moon and the ocean meet near the waterfall, and his goal is to kill both of these spirits. Once that happens, the waterbenders will be completely defeated. On the other side, a fierce battle is taking place between the waterbenders and the firebenders. Meanwhile, the general reaches the lake to find the moon spirit. He eventually finds the moon spirit and starts attacking it with his magical dagger. By doing this, he kills the moon spirit, causing the moon to turn black. With the moon's disappearance, the power of the waterbenders vanishes completely. Now, the firebenders have become much stronger, and they begin attacking and destroying the waterbenders' territory. They also destroy the waterbenders' temple. Then we see Aang going to the middle of the ocean and giving his soul to the spirit of the ocean. With the ocean spirit, Aang transforms into a monster and starts destroying all the firebenders' ships. At that moment, Zuko moves forward to kill Aang. Seeing Zuko alive makes the firebender general very angry, as he had ordered Zuko's death. The two stop fighting Aang and start fighting each other instead. Zuko beats him and defeats the general. After losing, the man tells Zuko, "You think that if you capture the Avatar, your father will make you a king? No, you are completely wrong. He wants to make your sister a princess, and I wanted to kill you because your father ordered me to do that." The scene cuts here. We then see the girl with white hair, who had been alive because of the peace of the moon. She tells Katara's brother, "Once, the moon spirit gave me a part of itself and made me live, and now it's time to return that peace." Saying this, she dives into the water and gives her soul to the ocean and the moon. This causes the moon to come alive again. Everything is restored, and Aang returns to his original form from the monster-like appearance. Now Aang has become a much more powerful avatar. He says, "Now I will forget my old life and focus on the life ahead." The scene then shifts, and we see Zuko, who still does not know what to do, as his own people had betrayed him. On the other side, we see Zuko's father receiving the news that the firebenders have lost to the waterbenders. But upon hearing this, Zuko's father is not at all upset. He tells his people, "This was all part of my plan because I did not want to kill the waterbenders. I did all this to keep the Avatar's focus on the waterbenders. In reality, we quietly took control of the earthbenders' territory. I sent my daughter here and made her the queen of this place." We then see the firebenders asking Zuko's father, "What will happen to Zuko now?" Zuko's father replies, "To gain something, we sometimes have to sacrifice our own people. That's what I did with my son." In the movie's end, we see Zuko's father addressing his people. "Very soon, a fireball will pass over Earth, which will make our powers even stronger." With this, the story ends. Friends, how did you like this video? We worked hard to create it, so please give it a like and leave a comment. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. Thank you.